Hey, good morning. It's Thursday, September 7th, and it is a rainy morning. I'm gonna get some chores done out in the yard, so I thought I would do a quick tour first. I know I've been gone for almost a couple weeks now, and I apologize. Haven't been feeling at top of my game, but getting back into a routine, so let's go ahead and walk around. So first thing I want to talk about is summer is over for us. We just had a little heat wave, our only heat wave of the entire summer over the Labor Day weekend here. And we did get into the 90s a few days. We had like 5 days or so, like at 85 or above. And now it's 60. We're supposed to have lows in the 40s, 50s, 40s, overnights for the rest of the month. Looking at the forecast, and we do have an estimated first frost date of September 27th, so about 20 days till estimated first frost date. So it's all over but the crying now. So it's really just about keeping things looking nice as can be. I am gonna update with some mums, for fall and things like that. But not too much this year. But it is a really good time to get some stuff done in the garden as far as moving plants around goes. Fall and spring are really great for that. So I have some hydrangeas that I'm going to move, and I'm probably going to move some hostas around too, but we'll walk through that as we go here. All right, so porch. Looking good. We did get a lot of rain. We've gotten about 4 inches of rain over the past 2 days. That heat wave broke and it just started to pour. So, which is fine. It makes digging plants up a little bit easier too. So, but everything is kind of laying down a little bit. And you can see everything is kind of gone past. These are some mums that I picked up at Walmart. Earlier in the week, they had some marked down like 50 cents or whatever, so I grabbed a few. I'll end up doing probably just these big containers in the front here with mums, and then I'll let everything else go until it dies and then bring it in, except for the houseplants. So I have, the Dr. Phil, the philodendron out here, which has done really nice out here this summer. So actually, I'll probably start I call it hardening in my houseplants. It's kind of the same idea as bringing plants out and letting them get acclimated to being outside. I do the same with bringing them in and let them get acclimated to being inside again, and not just like, okay, one day you're inside and that's it, because I find that they die if I do that. So I'll probably start that process here pretty soon. I mean, there are some areas, not where I am because we're so close to the lake. It'll stay a little bit warmer overnight for at least a few more weeks. But there are areas not too far from the lake, and that's Lake Superior. For a reminder for you guys, I live right on Lake Superior, about a mile off of Lake Superior, and Zone 4B in northern Wisconsin. So, but some areas, like even tonight, are supposed to get frost. So I don't want to wait for a frost to hit my houseplants. That's no fun. Then they will definitely die. So we'll at least give them a chance. And what I do is I'll start bringing them sort of like over into the hallway here. I have a little entryway here that stays a little bit warmer than the outside temperatures, and I'll put them in there for like overnight tonight, and then just start longer and longer, and then move them back out in the morning and start longer and longer, keeping them in the house and then getting them back in their normal spots. These big containers in the front here are way over. The grass is definitely done. This one for sure, the grass is like laying down. It's done. which is kind of a bummer because that would look really nice for fall. You know, once it starts to go brown and stuff like that. Let me see, this one is sort of browned up. That would be pretty with the mums for fall, but I don't know if I can make it work. They're very tall. I'm probably just going to end up pulling them out, and then I'll probably pull, I might not pull this out. You can't remember if that is frost tender or not. But the begonias are definitely frost tender. Those are going to get pulled. I might even try to get some cuttings off of these and bring those in. The coleus, definitely frost tender. They look gorgeous right now, though. I can't bring myself to pull those out, so those will probably stay in, and then I'll just put the mums in around them as I start to do that. So we'll see. That'll be happening over the next week or so. And then I did start pulling up the cement blocks on the pathway here. So you can see I just put some mulch down to keep it from getting too muddy. I got about halfway down and I pulled I had like this black plastic edging all down here, this stuff right here. So I started pulling that up and getting everything combined in so that this can become more of that like wavy woodland type garden that I have in my mind. I do still have to get some more of the cement blocks up, but I have a specific plan for these because you can see I kind of have like a little dump site up there right around the compost bin and stuff like that. That area is not cement and I want it to be, so I'm going to bring these cement blocks just up there and lay them here this fall. So that's going to get done before winter hits. Everything is pretty much gone over. You can see some hostas dying back here. Some stuff still looks fantastic. Some stuff is just done, and I just leave it. I'm not going to come through and do any like pruning, clean up the leaves or anything like that. I basically let everything die in place, and then in the spring I'll clean up anything that doesn't get broken down. The little border here looks nice. These little begonias, I shouldn't say little. The reason why they're out here is because they got so big, but they've held up well. They're kind of weird looking, just being in the middle of the yard there, but they did all right. They gave a little color. Oh, the Serendipity alliums have gone over. Their color is done, and it just makes me so sad. These were probably my favorite plant this year. I really want to have them everywhere. I'm definitely going to be adding more alliums. No doubt I'll be adding more alliums. The Autumn Joy sedum is starting to turn. So pretty. It's doing fantastic. I love that color. And it's a good sign of fall. And of course, as the flowers start to open, the bees are just absolutely loving it. So the alliums went over, the bees were on those. Now the bees are able to move over to the sedum. So that's good. Yeah, stuff just going back, laying down. It's done. It is getting cold. And we actually, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, I woke up and it was 36 degrees out. So we were close to frost, and I wasn't expecting it at all. Luckily, we didn't hit frost and everything survived, but it can happen just that fast around here. So, and unexpectedly, a lot of the heuchera is in bloom right now. It's gorgeous, really pretty. This pistachio, so pretty. I really like it a lot. So the hydrangeas that I'm moving are the Invincibelle lace that I had here. Had 3 of them. I've decided that I just think they can handle a little more sun. And oh, hold on, we got a truck going by. No, that was a big semi. Sorry, we don't really get trucks that big on my street. We live in a little residential area, so hopefully that wasn't too loud on the camera. But anyways, so these 3 hydrangeas I've moved. I'm going to put them over here on the north side. And so this still isn't that sunny. For reference, this is the the front of my house faces east. And then this is my north side and my south side over here, which is a little bit different, I know, because I want to have that shady woodland area on the south side of my house. And for most people, south side is their sunniest spot. But because the border between my house and my neighbors is mostly trees, it does keep the south side of my house nice and shady, so I'll be able to have that woodland area there. It also keeps my house nice and cool, so I appreciate that. Let's see. Nothing too exciting. This grass is coming on quite nicely. This should be nice for fall. I don't know if it's gonna get seed heads on it or what. I assume it does. This might need to get moved to a sunnier spot too. I got this from like a plant sale last year. That's at Anna grass there. It's very pretty with the white variegation and the way it grows, but I don't know if it's gonna get seed heads on it or not, which of course I would want it to. If it doesn't this year, I'll probably end up moving it someplace sunnier. Everything's doing good here. So, oh, look at this sweet little dahlia. How sweet is that? Just the prettiest pink. So here's one hydrangea. So you can see, like, especially this one, and this one is the one that was closest to the stairs in the front yard there. It looks chlorotic. It didn't really thrive well there, and when you see the other two, you'll see the difference. But so I want to get it more sun, and now's a good time to move that. And then we got the Triloba rudbeckia blooming, very sweet. Here's the second hydrangea, and so you can see, like, the healthy leaves on this one are much bigger. Obviously the color is darker, glossier, just healthier looking, but this still does have space in it where it looks a little chlorotic. But I don't know if it is chlorotic, and I have no idea if, if it needs more nutrients, or if it just needs more sunshine. And you can see it on this one too. So, but then this has some good. So I'm just hoping that getting it in the sunshine will help for these 3. And these get like 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. So I'm not quite sure about the spacing that I have right now, but I'll come in and measure it out a little bit better so that I have about a foot or 2 between each bush, so I can have something maybe that comes up the wall, like a clematis or something like that, on a trellis in between each of them. Let's see. Whew. These hydrangeas back here are doing really well. I forget what these are called. They're not like a Proven Winners variety. I can't remember what they're called, but they're both doing really well. No struggles there. Look at how much that's laying down from the rain. We've had so much rain just in the past couple of days. That little dahlia. We got a little gray streak. These guys are doing fantastic. This is nice dahlia weather. Really, they don't complain about the fall. And there's the Cornell Bronze. Looking gorgeous. Oh, the dog kennel is just wild. These hollyhocks, I can't get over how long these hollyhocks have had blooms on them, how big they got. I mean, that one is huge. It's huge. I don't even know. I mean, it's got to be at least 12 feet. And then there's some down here that are just putting in, like, just setting out new blooms even. So we'll be still having, you know, fresh hollyhock blooms here up until frost, I guess, which is nice. Ooh, gotta pick that cucumber. I'm gonna come in and pick some cucumbers. This is also good cucumber weather. They don't mind it cold and rainy one bit. Tomatoes, on the other hand, would prefer it be a little bit warmer. I do have a ton of tomatoes on my plants. Well, at least on the 10 fingers of Napoli here. There's a ton of tomatoes, still green. I'm not gonna top them. Some years I do top my tomatoes just to kind of, you know, force that energy into ripening and finishing the fruit that's already on there. But I'm not going to this year. I'm just gonna let everything go, and then I'll come out and pick them clean when I get tired of covering it up. So I'll throw like a sheet over this whole thing. If we're gonna get a frost, I'll just throw a sheet over it and it'll be fine. You know, those first few frosts are not too strong, and we can still get a week or so of really good weather after that first frost, or even 2 weeks or so of good weather after that first frost. So I hate to just say, okay, these plants are finished because we're going to get hit. So I will cover stuff up like the tomatoes and things like that. If they have a good amount of fruit on them, I'll still cover them with some sheets, you know, and I just go to Goodwill and grab sheets from there. So what do we got? Oh yeah, about 1 inch. I think we had close to 3 inches yesterday morning. So where are we at temperature wise? About 62, 63. Not bad. Yeah, but again, so a lot of the zinnias are still doing really, really well. The cosmos are laying down. They're pretty much done. As far as me trying to keep them looking nice goes, they're pretty much done. I may still get a lot of flowers off of them, but they're beat, and it's going to get cold. As it gets colder, they don't do that great in the cold. Some varieties, like the Sensation ones, don't do too bad. These will hold up to a frost. Well, they'll hold up to frost. Once the frost comes, they're dead, just like zinnias and stuff like that. They're so frost tender, and I don't try to keep them going. I'll usually just come out here and cut them down and get what I can for a few last bouquets. But these Sensation ones will hold up, even though they're laying down right now. They'll actually hold up. They have less sort of dead looking, you know, they flower more, even though when the weather gets cold. But these things here, like, these are I'm pretty sure the apricota. These just look like poop. Okay, guys, they don't look good, even though they're gorgeous and I've enjoyed them all summer. They look like they've been through hell and back, really. They look like a scraggly weed, and I'll probably end up pulling those out early. I do have some turnips and beets that my daughter said, let's try and do some turnips and beets, and I said okay. So I'll probably, like these here, these ones, now these might be the apricota. I can't remember. I planted so many. They've all been absolutely gorgeous this year. These ones, though, again, they look bad. There's not a lot of flowers. There's flower heads, but they come out. They don't last very long, even on the plant. I definitely can't cut them for bouquet. They don't last even a day for a bouquet. So this will all get pulled. This will entirely get pulled out here probably soon. And then I'll maybe, well, I have to, all right, let me show you guys this. So, let's talk about the potatoes first. So I think the last time that I made a video, I was asking if anybody knew, because these had so much flowering. These potatoes flowered so much, I was like, does that mean that you're gonna get a lot of potatoes? You can see all the little empty flower stems in here, but I didn't know if that meant you were going to get a lot of potatoes, because these were volunteers. I have no idea how many potatoes I'm going to get off of these at all. And so they were 2 plants, pretty vigorous all summer. They are starting to die back now, and I'm going to let them die back entirely. This will go to a frost. You can see here that I did get like a berry. A few of these I got, and something is coming along and taking them. I don't know if they're eating them or what, but as far as people go, these are very poisonous. Do not eat potato berries. But I suppose you could get seeds out of there if you wanted to grow potatoes from seed. So anyways, I looked it up to see if the amount of flowers means that that's kind of like the amount of fruit you're going to get, or potato or roots, kind of like, you know, tomatoes. And no, that does not mean that's how many you're going to get, but it is a sign that your plant is mature enough to produce roots. So very good, very happy with that. Wow, look at all these ones. I should try to save seeds from these. They look like little tomatoes. Maybe I'll try and save seeds from those. Those will be a little experiment this year. And so I was like, I'm going to have to dig up this whole bed, because I have no idea where the potatoes might have gone off to. And normally I would plant potatoes in grow bags, so that they're easy to harvest. You just dump the bag out. So this year I am going to have to dig this whole bed up, but I was in here kind of looking around, and look at that. That's a potato. A little smaller than a baseball, maybe. I'm excited. That's the only one. I haven't dug around in here too much, but so that's the only one I've found. But it looks like we are definitely going to have some potatoes come off of these plants. So I would say, if you get some volunteer potatoes in your garden, leave them. They can produce. I just had no idea. And the amount of flowers does not necessarily mean that's the amount of fruit you're going to get, but it can mean that your plant is old enough, or like mature enough to, and strong enough to create roots or tubers or whatever potatoes are called. And but some potatoes don't really flower all that much either, so it also can depend on the weather. And because we had such cool weather this year, I think that also impacted how many flowers we got. So don't be upset if your potatoes don't flower. I guess mainly it's just to say that the flowers are not really a significant sign of anything at all as far as how many potatoes you're going to get. So just keep that in mind. But they are very pretty. So and apparently they produce berries. So we'll see how that goes this year. If I can get some potato seeds. You can grow potatoes from seeds, I know, but I think it's a much longer process. Okay, let's see. Let's check this side. Yeah, like you can see these cosmos too. They just look beat up. And granted, we have had a lot of rain, but still, when you look at something like these white ones that are holding up much better, The cupcake ones over here, just much nicer. I think I'd probably end up going with more varieties like that, and the Sensation Mix they're just hardier. They're just going to stand up better, and I'm happier with that. And I can cut them, and they last in the vase. Also, the double clicks. These last in the vase really well too, and so these are definitely ones that I would suggest if you have a cutting garden. You'd want to go with these. Oops. Maybe not that particular one, but yeah. And the sunflower that I left in here just looks so sweet, and with all the cosmos, and I love it. Still very happy with that. This squash is still producing. Got a bunch of little baby fruit in there. I'll leave this up probably until the frost comes and pulls it back or kills it back, as long as it's still producing fruit. And I won't cover the squash. They're too big for one thing, and they're just too tender. The status is looking beautiful. I'm cutting tons of this and drying it in the house. I'm really happy with that. The zinnias have done fantastic this year too. It's been a great year for the